Caicedo. Oh, it's fabulous! A strike to get you up off your seats.
Hello and welcome to, I can't believe I'm about to say this, About Time, Season 4, Episode 1. I can't even tell you how much that's been bugging me for about 3 weeks. Honestly. But we are finally back in the real big time now. Premier League's back. The boys are back. Most importantly, we've got some new graphics back as well. So
we're in a new home.
Look at this. It's great, isn't it? It just is. We can't actually see it at the minute. It's really weird. But before we get into any of the business, because there's plenty of business to be talking about as well. Ben, how are you doing, mate? How was your weekend, of course?
Busy, mate. Very busy, actually. Yeah, Saturday I done I think it was like 8:30 until 10 in the end, just because the Hurricanes moved. So it was a long old slog. And then yesterday, got a late call up for DL Sports to help cover the Liverpool-Chelsea game. I'm guessing it was just because of the Caicedo thing. It was Caicedo, wasn't it? That was the whole narrative going into it. I think that's why I got the call up. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it. But it was still enjoyable, though. It was nice to go out there and do that again after a while. And also pick up my plug that I left there last time. So they actually kept hold of it for like the past 2 or 3 months, which is nice. So that was it about that. I obviously managed to stream the Luton game whilst I was working, which was nice. Obviously had that, basically just watching that, of course, but I needed to keep an eye on the other games as well. But yeah, decent weekend, thank you, mate.
Nice. Decent, mate. And Maz, what about you?
Yeah, busy one as well. Obviously got to the game on Saturday. It was really good. I was actually down for a stag do in Brighton. Second stag do. Don't know how that worked out. His first stag was in New York, by the way. So and then he got a second stag do in Brighton. I was like, what's going on here?
Upgrade.
I know, yeah. Yeah, the big upgrade. So yeah, we went to the Brighton game. We all went to the Brighton game together. Obviously, yeah, incredible day. And then we all went out on the Saturday. And then I had work yesterday. So I was in Brentford. I was covering the Brentford versus the Spurs game, and then I went to Stamford Bridge. So I was outside Stamford Bridge for the custody of Caicedo. I was actually there with a big flag saying #free Caicedo. So yeah, I was doing my bit.
It did work.
It did work. To be fair, yeah, it did work. So yeah, no, a bit busy one, but no, thoroughly enjoyable, nice. And always love being at the Amex for a good old.
What was my brother like though? Because my brother was invited to this stag. What was he like on the?
Yeah, we don't have enough time for that, so let's get into the football.
If he's anything like Ben, then or worse, I actually don't know your brother that well, but yeah, I can imagine. No, I'm just saying, Ben. I'm just saying, but no, it's all good, mate. All good. Yeah, obviously Brighton 4-1 win, Luton Town. I actually said on the podcast, didn't I? 4-1 win, and I'm holding that one. And when Evan scored, I was like, yes. I should have put a bet on
I said 3-1.
It's okay.
And I did kind of half wish that Luton that goal, didn't I? As well, I was like, would be nice for them to score, and they scored out their end, so they had their moment, which was nice. And then I think one of the best moments, apart from the goals, was Rob Edwards losing his voice in the post match. I don't know if you saw his interview afterwards. He's like, it was a really good game. Yeah. Obviously, I'm getting pelters by the players. Yeah, that made me crazy.
Yeah. I didn't actually get to give my prediction because obviously I wasn't on the preview. However, I did actually.
What was your prediction, Maz?
It was 2-1 Brighton, which obviously was far off it in the end. But I did predict Luton to score, and of course, yeah, we doubled the 2 that I predicted. But yeah, I'll be honest. I thought it would have been tighter. I thought Luton, just because you know those awkward sort of teams that come up and you don't know what to expect from them.
Banana skin.
Yeah, it could be a potential banana skin. So I was very cautious when predicting. But yeah, no, it was we dominated ultimately, didn't we?
Yeah, you say that, but I was actually going to talk about that first half because I would probably say I thought it was quite a tough game. I thought we were good, but I thought Luton made a very decent account of themselves. Well, I must admit, it did feel quite a bit like when you play a cup game. And for example, the Grimsby game, it did feel a little bit sort of cup-tie. I don't know, because obviously Luton have got promoted. They're there on their own merit. I almost felt like they need to give themselves a bit more credit there because, I don't know, they just seemed like they were just on a complete jolly on their first day out, which I'm sure they were, and it's great. But at the same time, I thought, it just felt a little bit cup-gamey. I don't know what it was about it, but
I can see that.
It was a bit of a strange atmosphere.
Yeah,
it was a bit odd. But then, yeah, first half they made it tricky, I'll be honest. And I was a bit a bit apprehensive. Obviously, Solly broke the deadlock, and it was a good header. We don't really tend to see Solly score many headers, to be fair. It's a great cross from Mitoma. But before that, I was a little bit worried. But it's worth noting, actually, before we get into the goal, Mo Dahoud, Maz, was probably the one that stood out alongside James Milner, two debutants.
I was literally about to say James Milner. So he was obviously for the first half. He was on our where I was sitting, like, on my side, and just seeing him in real life, I thought. But before the game, I was like, 37-year-old James
So
Milner
weird, isn't it?
Yeah, starting at right back. I was like, Jesus Christ. I feel like, is this going to be a good thing? Is this going to be a bad thing?
I was like that kid at Starbucks, mate. I was starstruck completely when I saw him on the pitch.
Great reference, that. But no, he was fantastic. Like, James Milner, just quickly, before I get onto Dahoud, I thought James Milner was fantastic. Like, how he locked up, who was it on the left? Was it Mpanzu? I think it was. How he locked him up, and like, he was winning headers. He was making big tackles. He was running up and down the wing. Like, it was just like, he just looked really, really good. And it really took me... I know he's always been a quality player, but you always wonder with age, will they get slower? Will they get sluggish? Will they not be the same? But his ability to read the game was just second to none.
Superb, wasn't he?
Yeah, like how he's just able to read the game. How physical he was, how fit he was. He just looked, fantastic. And of course, Mo Dahoud, was also, excellent. Like, he just looks so classy and calm. He brings
very silky.
Yeah, he brings a really calm demeanour to the team. I think he really he can slow down play when he needs to. He can just make people feel at ease. And I felt that when I was watching him play and I saw him just the way he just effortlessly sort of makes passes and stuff like that. It just put me at ease as a fan. I didn't feel worried when he was on the ball. And he loves a little turn, and he just looks really silky, as you said. So
if he's wearing a thermal already in August, I don't know how he's going to handle the winter. By the way, I know he's played in Germany, where it's Baltic. I know.
Germany's just as cold as here.
How's he managed to survive Germany winters as well? But he's wearing a thermal. I did find that quite funny. Maybe it was just. I don't know, maybe because he was probably the only person on the pitch wearing it for Brighton. It just
I love that, by the way. Me and Ryan talking about how silky he is, and then Ben goes, I love how he's wearing a thermal.
You took all the superlatives. I ran out of superlatives. I'll try. I'll be a little I'll be a little negative though, because every time they kind of countered us or they broke, it was a bit worrying. I did think that every time I was like, they could score it, and you can beg the question.
The reason I was getting onto it.
Is that because we haven't got Caicedo in the midfield, or that kind of player in the midfield?
I think they were really on the wings, especially like Kabore at right back. I thought he was fantastic.
Oh, he was really good.
He's on loan from City, I believe. He was really, really good. And basically, I noticed in the first half their game plan was get out to the wing, cross it into Morris, and hope for a header slash.
Very championship.
It was very, very cross the ball in the box, hope for a knockdown or a header, and sort of go route one. Not route one, because I think that's a bit disrespectful to say, but it was very much get it in the box. Try and score a goal that way. We defended like Van Hecker and Dunk. I thought done really well to handle, that physical presence up front in Morris. I thought, Van Hecker done a really good job on keeping him quiet as such. Of course, sometimes he did lose that battle, but most of the time he came out on top.
So those two surprising starters that I didn't expect, because I think I expected a very similar lineup to the one that played against Rayo Vallecano. But the fact that Van Heck and Milner started, those were two quite surprising ones for me.
Yeah, obviously we had Webster out, didn't we? So I think once he said that, it was always going to be a bit of a one of who goes. It was either going to be Igor or Van Hecker, who knows the league a little bit more. So I can see the reasoning. But I think he went for experience with that lineup. I think that our average age of the first 45 minutes was about 30, I think, which is unusual for a Brighton team.
Yeah, it's probably the oldest.
Bit of an eyesore at times because. Yeah, it is weird for us because obviously we're used to seeing the likes of a Dingra who we'll get onto in a bit, and them sort of young players that come on and excite. It was a bit more of a cagey one. And I wanted to get onto that point, Ben, that you sort of raised of, Caicedo obviously gone now, and we're not going to get into the full thing of Caicedo gone because it's been so overdone. But the way we were with Dahoud, and I think when Gilmour came on second half, he sort of steered the boat a little bit, but I just felt like every single time in transition we were getting done, and if that was against a team that could really have hurt us, I mean, even Wolves next season will be more of a test than Luton were, no disrespect of course, but it's going to be, I don't know, I don't doubt we'll probably make some signings this week, but if we don't, Ben, are you a bit worried with the sort of counter-attacking lack of ball winner in midfield? That was such a tongue twister.
No, 100%. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, we could see it. Yeah, like you said, if we play against a team that is more clinical. I mean, Carlton Morris did have a few chances where got me a bit nervous, but yeah, I think we could definitely get caught out. And Caicedo will be the toughest replacement we've had in the past few years of replacing our first team players that we have by a long, long way. He is so hard to replace. There aren't enough players like him, which is why his fee's so much in the market.
That we know.
Similar to that we know is true. Similar to goalkeepers as well. They seem to Bobby Sanchez is starting for Chelsea now, and he had a few hiccups. Normally, a team like Chelsea would be going for a much bigger goalkeeper, but there aren't many out there. And the same with defensive midfielders now. So I thought, that'll be really difficult to replace, and I hope we do. We link with, is it someone from Lille now? I'm sure we'll talk about that even more soon. But whether he's the ideal replacement, we get to see. But that's normally the case for most of the players we sign anyway. But yeah, we did look a bit light there and a bit shaky without him.
Yeah, I was actually Oh, sorry. Just quickly on that. I thought we were going to start Billy Gilmour. I thought he'd come in. I know he's not the same as Caicedo. Like we said, we don't have a like-for-like replacement for Caicedo. But I thought with Billy Gilmour, with all his attributes that he's got, I thought he would have been the perfect replacement in that sense from the players available. So I was quite surprised to see him not start, but he came on in the second half, of course, and he sort of steadied the ship and made sure we didn't really, because we obviously went 2-1, didn't it, at one point? So it was to make sure that we didn't then go 2-2 or whatever. So yeah, I was quite surprised by that, but we do definitely need a like someone that has the same skill sets as Caicedo. I think that's so key going into the final week now, or a couple of weeks now we've got left.
Yeah, and obviously, to get onto the goal, Mitoma, it's a great piece of skill as well from Dahoud, but the ball in from Mitoma was inch perfect. March couldn't really miss, but it's very unusual to see him getting a header in there. I think that's only the second one he scored in so many years. Ben, were you a bit surprised to see Solly March popping up with a header there?
Definitely a header, yeah, but for a goal, no. I mean, I saw a really good stat from Statman Dave about last season, since De Zerbi's appointment, sorry. And yeah, Solly's been involved in now 14 goals and assists in the Premier League, and that's the most out of any Brighton player, which is insane. To think that Solly Marshall, we used to know, had no output at all, really. Not being harsh, it's kind of
so much more well-rounded as well now, isn't he? I mean, he's not so
leap.
Sort of one-sided, had to always...
Yeah, but yeah, it was a really, really good header. I think he was quite surprised of it, as most of the Brighton fans in the stadium were.
Yeah, agree. And yeah, I think, I don't know, the first half, as we say, I don't think De Zerbi would have been a happy man going into that sort of half-time. I mean, I must admit, I was a little bit sort of thinking, we need to make some subs. I did think second half as it started, Luton were getting back into the game a bit. I thought that they were putting on some pressure. I actually thought that penalty came against the run of play, and we'll get onto the penalty now because it was a subjective one. In my opinion, it's a bit of a dive, isn't it, from João Pedro, who didn't really have too much of a kick. I mean, he was getting a lot of hard time from Luton fans. Obviously, he missed that chance early on, and you're going to expect it on you. Yeah, you forgot about that miss. He had quite a bit of stick, and it felt like maybe he was feeling it a little bit. I don't know, that for me wasn't the penalty, Maz. What about you?
Yeah, no, it was literally right in front of me, and straight away I turned around to my mate and I was like, "That's not a penalty." Straight away I was like, "That's going to go to VAR. It won't go through." Like he did go down super easy, and I've seen the replay since, and I think Lockyer will be fuming watching that back, thinking I barely touched him and he's gone down like that. So yeah, I'll be real. Yeah. I just don't think it was a penalty. But look, you got to take these decisions. The fact it's been reviewed by VAR. That's not on us anymore. That's been taken to the referee. So take it up with the refs and take it up with the assistant referees. So
the amount of VAR howlers already in the opening weekend is a joke. I mean, I think I agree with you two. It probably wasn't a penalty. It's very, very soft. The only thing I can say is that Lockyer, his arm was quite high, and it kind of caught João Pedro near the face, so that's why he's gone down.
It's gone round his sort of neck,
and so
really
that's probably
neck,
why João Pedro's gone down
chest.
very easily. Obviously, really happy that he scored the penalty after that absolute howler in front of the Luton fans, with 5 minutes into the game before.
Even that though, even the penalty though, the keeper was close. It was a good pen ultimately. As in, it went in, he scored the goal. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it was as clinical as some of the penalties you've seen him in the past. But no, I'm just happy it went in, to be honest.
Yeah. It was a big weight off him, it looked like, because the João Pedro of the first half and the João Pedro of the second half was pretty different. I think as soon as that sort of second went in, obviously I think Luton did have a chance pretty much straight away. But other than that, I don't really think they did too much. Brighton looked a lot more sort of themselves. We made the subs. We brought on Gilmour. I think Gilmour was a big factor in sort of chilling that out a little bit. The passing was a little bit not so crisp, and you'd expect that. We've lost our biggest double pivot. McAllister, Caicedo have been two of the best midfielders in the league last year, and to lose both of them and it just expect us to play, like it's FIFA and we're going to be fine no matter who we bring in. We probably will be in the long run, but to expect it on the opening day was always going to be a bit tough.
May I just add, Brian?
I think Gilmour steadied that ship.
About him. Alexis yesterday against Chelsea looked so good, which was really nice to see. He's pretty pivotal.
I didn't see the game.
He was pretty pivotal in there. The goal that was disallowed. Oh, yeah, the first goal. Sorry, the disallowed one. Yeah,
the pass to Salah. Yeah,
pass to Salah was beautiful. And he just looked really, really good there
as well.
Yeah, Sanchez had a few shaky moments in the first half, which is quite funny. So did Colwell. Colwell was getting turned inside out by Salah in the first half. There was a game or two after that one, but I just wanted to say Alexis looked really, really good. And then Colwell, got a bit better in the second half. But Alexis, because I was worried that Alexis maybe was going to be out of his depth or maybe not work at Liverpool because of the lack of reinforcements they've got in midfield. But he seemed to be like the more solid out of the three midfielders, which was good to see. But sorry, carry on with Gilmour.
No, it's all right. I can see Alexis doing well there. I mean, they could even be beaten by Chelsea for Lavia as well now, which could be very interesting if you're a Liverpool fan. My goodness. But this isn't a Liverpool podcast, although it's been a bit comical over there with their sort of transfers so far. But anyway, to the substitutions as it was, I think it did change the game for us. I say you recognise Brighton as being these sort of 21-year-olds, bit of flair, you wouldn't think we'd say this a few years ago, but now you associate Brighton as being this bit of flair, and I think that really changed. Evan Ferguson was good when he came on, I thought, linked up a lot better. I don't know about you, Maz, but do you think Gilmour now has to be a starter? Do you think that these sort of experience first sort of things doesn't really work for us as well as just the free-flowing Brighton that we know?
Yeah, no, I think definitely it's like how similar to how everyone talks about Foden now, like he's now 23, he has to be starting for Man City. I feel like with Gilmour, he's got to a stage now where he had such a great back end of last season. You've then seen the starting midfielders going, Caicedo and McAllister. You must be thinking, if you're Gilmour, you're like, this is my time. This is the perfect opportunity for me to be starting games. There's no better time, to be honest with you. And if he doesn't start, then you start to think, does De Zerbi not trust him? Is he not good enough? You start thinking these kind of questions. So to answer the question, I think definitely Gilmour should be starting. I think in this current squad we've got, obviously we haven't got the Caicedo replacement yet, but I would like to see him with Dahoud, maybe him and Dahoud as like the pivot. But then it's how do you fit in? How do you fit in Gross? How do you fit in other players? And it becomes difficult. And that's De Zerbi's job at the end of the day. But I would like to see Gilmour start, and I think it'll be worrying if he doesn't sort of cement his place now because of the opportunity that's given to him. So but look, it's De Zerbi, and I trust him wholeheartedly with whatever he does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Ben, but there was something about just bringing on those subs in Ferguson, Gilmour, and Veltman, Adingra as well. It just felt a little bit more Brighton, perhaps, and then I think that just. I don't know if it was just a psychological thing. It could have just been me overthinking the game, but it just felt like a little bit more steady and a little bit more natural. I don't know about you.
No, it's true. No, I completely agree. I do understand why he maybe went for experience first. I mean, against Luton, like we said earlier, it could have easily have been like a really shaky one or banana skin, that sort of thing. So having old heads like Milner on the pitch was probably a smart move to start off with. Just to get you through the game, get you through the first half in case anything went wrong. Then, like you said, being able to bring on those subs, and I think you tweeted about it, Ryan. Looking at the bench before when the lineups came out, it was a beautiful sight to see. We are absolutely stacked now, which is so nice. It was brilliant. And then Ferguson had a really, really good effort on goal when it hit the post.
That was
so good.
Yeah.
That was so
that
good.
Was magic.
I wish that went in for him. That would have been brilliant. We looked really, really good as soon as those boys came on.
Yeah, Gomez.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that Ferguson effort was unbelievable, mate. It was like, you know how Haaland scored that goal, and I always compare Ferguson and Haaland, but that Haaland goal, you know, that Haaland goal,
they are very
Burnley.
similar.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest.
Do you know what I mean? I know we're biased because we're Brighton fans, but I generally do see like likenesses. But you know the goal Haaland
The
scored
type
against
of player.
Burnley.
Yeah.
Similar type of player.
The goal he scored against Burnley, you know, when he didn't look and he just struck it, it was like Ferguson against Luton, where he sort of just didn't think about it. He just struck the ball, and it's just it's such a good effort. And I just feel like he's got such a good footballing brain. He's physical. He's what, 19 or 18 still? I don't know.
I think it must be 19
18.
now.
Yeah.
18, yeah.
It's
Oh, he's
insane.
18.
Like,
Bloody hell.
how is... Like, I was seeing him warm up on the sidelines. You know, Igor, right? Just also as well, an Igor. He is absolute
gonna
unit.
say about
Like,
him.
honestly, I thought he was like a bodybuilder.
He's massive,
I thought he was like a bodybuilder just warming up. I thought he was one of our physios warming up. But no, like him and Igor, and like I saw him stand next to Igor, and he wasn't even that far off, like Igor's like size. And I was like, for an 18-year-old to be that built and that physical, I think he's such a good attribute to have.
Sound fair.
Yeah. And, so yeah, I just think he's physically, technically, just destined for the top. And I was watching Sky Sports this morning, and they were talking about Evan Ferguson potentially being linked now with, you know, like obviously Harry Kane
Tottenham,
going to Tottenham.
They'd be dumb not to go to him. I know
Champions
that's awful to say, but
Yeah.
surely if you're Tottenham, you're thinking, right, we've got that money, let's go and spend it on Evan Ferguson. I mean, I hope they don't, obviously, but
I hope,
They're going to be spending a lot of
Well,
money this time in the
yeah,
window.
it'll be like 150.
You'll be looking at 150 plus minimum.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, I just can't
And
see
also,
it.
just talking of
Can't
transfers
see it
out,
less
just
than
quickly, I thought, and I just want to say, I thought Purvis Estupiñán was sensational on Saturday. I tweeted about him, and I thought he was just brilliant. I know a lot of people were like, oh, you know, Gross man of the match, and you know, other players stood out. I thought Purvis Estupiñán,
No, I can back
yeah,
that.
him, Mitoma, and Dahoud, I thought linked up so well on that sort of like left hand side, especially in the second half. They were just running right in that second half.
his
And,
yellow card was a joke, by the way.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if you guys saw it. He literally stood still. Well, what else is he
Yeah.
meant to do? He didn't even move like that or step into it. He literally stood still and he got booked. And that was so soon into the game. I was thinking the Premier League's back like this is a joke.
Yeah, I was worried he might get sent off.
We won 4-1, yeah, and that whole game, that referee was horrendous. I mean, I could probably rant about the referee even after
we
a
haven't even
4-1
spoken
win.
about
I mean,
dunks.
it was a shocking display.
Dunks handle.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know. I was
Okay,
gonna get
Sorry,
onto
before
the
you do,
handball,
Ryan,
but this
because
is
that's
the perfect
going to
sort
be
of
a
link.
big talking
Go
point.
on.
I just want to quickly say, Billy Gilmore, number 11, hate it. What is that? What is going on? That is not how centre mid should not be number 11.
This is
This
Ben's
is
worst
a joke.
nightmare,
It is.
isn't
I
Just like
even
little
tweeted
things
about it. I
in
don't normally
football.
tweet.
But no, I do agree.
It's a
I do
joke.
agree.
And number 11.
Yeah, I do agree.
He's a centre midfield from Scotland.
Joke.
He's not a winger.
Yeah,
He's not a winger. He's not.
I know what you mean.
Oh my
I know what you mean.
God, man.
To me, mate, like the numbers are just a bit wrong. João Pedro should be a 10, and if anyone's going to take 9, it should be Ferguson. And an 11, maybe you could say Julio.
Caicedo looked good in
Yeah.
Julio. 11 looked good in Julio.
Yeah, it is a bit weird. I've got to be honest. The 10, in my opinion, was made for João Pedro. I don't know, just would have looked clean with the João Pedro 10. Just looks right, but yeah, I don't know what it is. The 9 just to me just doesn't seem right. But I don't know. It is what it is. Like, squad numbers are squad numbers at the end of the day. But yeah, all I was going to say about Lewis Dunk and the referee performance in general, it wasn't great. It really wasn't great. As you say, the Premier League's back. But then again, the penalty for us wasn't a penalty, was it? So the penalty for them wasn't a penalty. I mean, they had their moment, but on another day, that could have been one that really turned around. And, you know, imagine if they came back and scored another one. I didn't really have that doubt in my mind, if I'm being honest with you. But, Maz, if a ball hits you here and you're going in for a sliding challenge at about there, what else are you going to be able to do with your arms? You're going to dive like this? Because is that how physics works?
You imagine the
or
memes
does it
if
not
someone
work
actually
like
dived like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just ridiculous.
It was never a penalty in my eyes. Again, it's one of those. I think, is it by the letter of the law? You know, it's a penalty, but it's then if you're following the letter of the law. I get it. You have to remain it. It has to be the same for every club, but at the same time, you like as a football fan, I'm sure referees are football fans as well. Surely you see it from a football fan's perspective of like, that's not a penalty. I'm sure a lot of Luton fans will agree with us as well, as we agreed with the Joao Pedro penalty. That just wasn't a penalty. It's so harsh. Like you said, how can he physically, it's literally hit his back onto his arm. It's like, what more can you do physically?
That's the issue there. Like if it just hit his arm straight away, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. But because it hit his back first and then deflected onto his arm, like, yeah, that is an absolute
mad,
joke. And then you fast forward to Sunday, and you see Nicholas Jackson literally hit his arm and flop his arm like that. It wasn't given. How do you not? Where's the comparison? How can they look at one of them and look at the other one and say
consistency?
There's not at all. It's a joke. And this is the opening weekend of the Premier League, and I'm still waiting for a PGMO apology. We'll probably have our first one again by tomorrow. Or something
at least Harry Kane's gone. That's all I can say. Thank God Harry Kane's
that'd
gone.
Be great.
Because I not only had the biggest
Tottenham
agenda against him, but he was probably one of the worst to play against in the league. Like he's got to be one of them, isn't he? I mean, the amount of times do you see the thing of him going over to the referee in the Super Cup or whatever it was?
Yeah, that's
over
hilarious.
to go and complain, but he didn't know German, so he didn't know what to do. He sort of just stood there awkwardly. It was as soon as he learns German, mate, he's going to be all over him. But yeah,
Billy T who's a Tottenham fan on Twitter, he tweeted a screenshot of how you say referee in German. And it basically, like Szoboszlai's name, the Liverpool midfielder, it's basically like that, but times two. It's even harder. So imagine Harry Kane trying to say, hey, Szoboszlai.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it would be hilarious. When I hear him speaking German, I will be there. I will be there.
Yeah, I will be there.
We will be there. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to some positive though, because I could complain about the ref all day, but I'm not going to.
Good penalty,
Let's talk about third goal. Adingra. Yeah, it was a good penalty. Give him that. I must admit, I had a bit of a feeling that Steele was going to save it just because of his track record from the spot. But no, it's a good penalty. Sent him the wrong way. And to be fair to number 9, what was his name again?
Carlton Morris.
This is really arrogant from me, isn't it? I don't actually know.
Yeah.
Carlton Morris. That's
Morris.
He was spot on yesterday. I thought he was probably the one of the day before, probably the one of the Luton players that did. Scream proper old school championship. To me, I don't know if this is such a specific memory, I'm sure you know. But do you remember, what's his name? That one who played Scott Hogan for Brentford back in the day. Scott Hogan. He just screamed Scott Hogan against Brentford. I think we lost like 2-0 on Duffy's debut, I think it was. Sorry, my memory's so weird. But yeah, that's what he gave me vibes of. And luckily it didn't end like that because, God, that would have been horrendous. Anyway, third goal, Adingra. What an assist, by the way, from Mpanzu. Just flicks it up perfectly for him. And Adingra has just smacked it near post. It's a great finish, to be fair. I don't know what the Luton players were playing
of all people, Mpanzu
very much
to do
naivety.
it was so harsh. Because his journey is like from, National League all the way to the Prem. He's played in every single time. He's like the first ever player to do so, and then to do that in your first Premier League,
mate.
That's how bad
I was going to say, Ben, he probably thought he's back in National League, mate.
Playing against Whitehall.
No, only joking. Fair play to him. It's an incredible journey, but he did mess up pretty badly.
That's how ruthless the Prem is, and we've learned that on the finish years of being there.
The finish from Adingra was unbelievable. To hit that first time, and it was a half volley, wasn't it? It wasn't a volley, was it?
Yeah, half volley, I think.
Yeah, half volley.
No, it's full volley.
It was. Yeah,
was it?
I don't know. I
thought it's full
I think
volley.
you might be right.
I'm pretty sure it's full.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Because it
I don't know.
it fell to him and he walloped it, didn't he? It was a great finish.
Yeah,
great finish. And I really liked Adingra when he came on. And I think he's quite unlucky because obviously we've got March and Mitoma in the wide areas, and it's like they're both playing really well at the moment. I thought Mitoma was fantastic again. And it was just like,
yeah, he was.
How do you get into that team right now? Even though you yourself playing well, you got Mitoma and March in front of you, and it's just I feel bad for him.
Mitoma's close ball control was exceptional, and that build up to the penalty. Regardless whether it's a penalty or not, just the way he sort of flip flaps it around the way he keeps that ball stuck to his foot is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I don't even know the thing that baffles me the most, more than anything. Yeah, we'll go on to that. The thing that baffles me the most with Lewis Dunk and Karo Mitoma, probably the two which I can give the ultimate praise to, is Lewis Dunk's chest in the first half was sublime.
Insane.
But also Karo Mitoma's first touch is sublime. I've never seen a player been able to receive a ball from so far out, probably apart from Riyad Mahrez, and just take it so well to the point where it's always perfect. I don't think I've ever seen Mitoma not control a diagonal pass ever. It's ridiculous. Whether it's with his chest, he's controlled it with his head, he controls it with both feet, his knees. Like, I don't think that he's got a bad touch on him at all. Regardless, I think he's just made somewhere in a lab that's designed for him to be able
I
to
wouldn't
do
be
that,
surprised.
Him and Lewis Dunk's first touch is a joke. Honestly, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, that's a bit of praise for him because Mitoma was fantastic. Adingra, very, very exciting, very raw, but I like that. I think it's one of them players that you want to see do well. He's got that sort of bubbly character in it. You can sort of see he loves it. A bit like when we first had Sarmiento and then Ciso come into the scene. I think Adingra's got them sort of like happy vibes. And I'm looking forward to him this season because, as you say, he could easily be breaking into that team without Solly March and Karo Mitoma. But onto the fourth and final goal. Obviously, we're talking about Mitoma's contract and other news after. But fourth and final goal. Great ball from Lewis Dunk. Great ball from Lewis Dunk, as we know. Lobbed it over. No, it's fantastic pass. And obviously through to Stupinja, back across goal. And Adingra was gutted because I think he thought he had his brace there. Obviously, Evan Ferguson turned it in. Right place, right time. Everything you want in the centre forward. And probably, Maz, we haven't seen someone able to just turn that in exactly where you need him, apart from Glenn Murray in the last decade, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's exactly what we need at number 9. I want him to be... I know Welbeck is like the safe... Everyone kept messaging me as well, like as if prior to the game, like, will Juan Pedro start? Will Ferguson start? I'm like, I'm not... First of all, I'm not De Zerbi, so I don't know the answers to those questions. But like, if I was the manager, I think I would start Ferguson, and I've said this sort of from pre-season really, but I understand what Welbeck brings, and he brings that experience. He brings, everything that Danny Welbeck brings. I understand and I get it, but I think long term, I would love Ferguson to be starting up top. I think he has everything that Welbeck has and more. And obviously he's much younger and a bit more sprightly, so to speak. So yeah, I think I would love to see Ferguson start, and I think we've got a striker who's got an unbelievable ceiling, and I think he can be genuinely one of the best Premier League strikers. So yeah, I just hope we keep on hold of him.
Fair play. No, I agree. I do understand why we're not playing him yet. I think you've got to kind of ease him into it still. And like you said, Welbeck is definitely a safe bet, and he did play well as well, Welbeck. But yeah, in the future,
Welbeck's really got on an extra yard of pace, hasn't he, recently, Ben?
Yeah, no, that's true.
I just seem to see him beating players a lot more regularly.
Unless it was just slow Luton defenders, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in the next few games.
Yeah, but even at the back end of last season, I thought there wasn't really I thought Welbeck played really well pretty much the whole way through. I think it's just because people associate Welbeck to his time at Arsenal, which was okay, not the best. He turned into a bit of meme, and I find it really harsh on him, really, because I just think he's very, very good skill set, which obviously the admin took the mick at me for saying skillet, but he's got a very good skill set. He's very good all rounder, very good in the air. He's very quick. He's got a deep. Well, his first touch probably is the only thing that lets him down, actually. But I just think he's a very all-round good player, very good around the dressing room. He's obviously very good for the young players. And actually, this is a whole talking point which I wanted to mention to you guys today, is the fact of Brighton, as we talked about the experience versus the young players. Now, a lot of people just associate Brighton just to being the young players, but it's not really the case, because without these experienced players in there, your Veltmans, your Lallanas, your Welbecks, your James Milners, these players are the ones that shape this team. Lewis Dunk as well. Probably the more boring signings are the most significant ones. Without Lallana, probably we wouldn't have what we have now in a a lot stronger mentality. When Potter went, they say Lallana was sort of the man to keep everyone going. I think Milner's going to be sort of a second right-hand man to him in that for now. But I don't know about you, Ben, but that balance of having very, very good experience with very, very good youngsters is just sort of a ready-made potion for success.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we've built that slowly, and it seems to be working so well. Especially like if you look at everywhere on the pitch, you've got Lewis Dunk. If we're talking about football managers as well, you've got these mentors on the pitch that are helping out these younger players. And it's true. So you've got Jason Steele paired with Bart Verbruggen. You've got Lewis Dunk with Van Heck, another young centre-back. In the midfield, you've got Milner and Gross teaching the likes of Gilmore, even Tahoud probably chiming in as well. And then Evan Ferguson learning off Danny Welbeck is brilliant. Trying to think of wingers. Don't know if Solly March can teach Mitoma and the youngsters too much, because they've just got Brazilian flair and South American flair as it is. But Yeah, we've got a lot of mentors and leaders over around the pitch, which helps us out so much.
Yeah,
I do agree.
Yeah, just to echo what Ben said, I think it's really key as well, and not only just about what we've all discussed now, but also attracting more leaders. So, like, I think a really good example of that is, like, I don't think James Milner would have joined Brighton unless he saw Adam Lallana joining Brighton. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously the ex-Liverpool links, and, like, I think seeing other experienced leaders join the club makes other experienced leaders want to join the club. Because if it's just a club bunch of kids, you're like, oh, is that is that really where I want to be? Obviously you can teach some stuff as we mentioned, but I think having such experienced players come to the club, I think it makes us more attractive to other players that we want to attract as well. So it's just really good for the development of the club, and I'm really excited to see how everyone learns from all these key players.
Agree. And game aside, I mean, it was a great sort of result. I think a lot more to learn from. I think Dahoud, as we said, got a lot to learn. Very promising signs, a lot to learn. I think that's going to be sort of what we take away from it. De Zerbi sort of seemed somewhat disappointed, perhaps afterwards, maybe wanting some of these replacements. Obviously, as we say, Moises Caicedo did go. £115 million, I believe he's making his medical at the moment at Chelsea. Obviously, that was a whole saga in itself, which we don't need to get into. But what I will get into is the money. £115 million, Ben. I mean, they say the £15 million in add-ons is something very achievable. Like, I think Chelsea was getting Europe and something else along them lines. It might be matches played or something like that. So, Ben, I want to ask you. You've got 115 million. I think we've got 223 million pounds off Chelsea just in the last year, and 390 something million pounds just in the past year of all sales.
Mad.
We've got to have some cash, haven't we, to be able to spend in this week?
just quickly as well before you start, Ben. We also got a sell-on clause as well. So if they sell it, we get a big chunk. Yeah, which is huge as well. So
when he goes to Real Madrid in a few seasons, we'll get a piece of their pie. That'll be great. But yeah, we got so much money, and it's a manager's dream, a football manager's dream anyway. But I just don't see us going out and buying these ready-made players with it. Obviously, we'll buy one or two, and we'll definitely be getting a Caicedo replacement for sure. I just don't think that we're going to be going out and getting a star player like Kudus now. Just as an example, no, we're not actually getting him, but someone of maybe
we pulled out, didn't we, with Kudus?
Yeah, we pulled out because apparently we didn't want to add a release clause to him, which is what he wants, and it looks like he's going to West Ham now. So. Good luck to him, because he'll need it at West Ham for sure. Awful move for him, I think. Maybe I'm just bitter. But I might be wrong, but maybe we won't be going out and getting like a new attacker. I think it will just be, if we get a new fullback, that'll be brilliant. Or maybe a centre-back potentially. And let's get a Caicedo replacement is the key in this team. I think if we get a Caicedo replacement, we'll be good to go.
Yeah, let me start on a Caicedo replacement. Obviously, the Carlos Baleba is the latest. Apparently, we've agreed personal terms according to Fabrizio. Cameroonian midfielder, plays for Lille, 19 years old. Very, very promising if you actually look at some of his stats and some of his highlights as well. I think in the last calendar year in Ligue 1, no under-21 midfielders averaged more dribbles, this is according to Bent's. I can't say a second name, I'm very sorry. But no under-21 midfielder in League 1 at average more dribbles per 90 is 5.81 per 90 than Carlos Baleba. He's also now averaged most... God, this is a very, very, very high tech. Actually, I probably shouldn't be doing this on the podcast, but it's all data via Y-Scout. At least 400 minutes played, under 21 player, born 2002 or after. Very still raw, but he's got a lot of potential. Be a fantastic signing for Brighton. That's from people that watch him week in, week out. What I can say is he looks very promising. To me, looks like a bit more of a Mwepu replacement, or someone that's a bit more box to box, Bissouma-esque, if you will. I feel like, I don't know about you, Maz, Tyler Adams obviously linked. We've been linked with a few others as well. I probably want him plus one more. Whether that's Tyler Adams from Leeds, I'd be pretty happy with, because they say that medical thing was false news. Would you take Tyler Adams? Would you take two midfielders? I mean, we've got plenty of money now.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, we need to spend the money wisely, and I know I've always got full confidence that we will. But yeah, I definitely want a like-for-like Caicedo replacement. And do you know what? Tyler Adams, I wouldn't mind it. I don't think... It wouldn't... I don't know how to explain it. It would have felt...
I feel like it'd be that underrated signing,
Yeah, potentially. Because, do you know what? When he played... for Leeds. He was actually decent. I remember he had some really standout games where he did look really, really good. But I know he's not injured right now, but I know he's had his injury concerns in the past, and I'm just worried, is that going to be like a recurring theme in his career? And if it is, that just leaves us short like a lot of the times, and we've got players like Lallana, for example, who loves to get injured. So I just want us to sort of maybe focus on someone who can play sort of when we need him, when we need to call on him, and have that experience. Because I think Tyler Adams is 24, I want to say, or mid-20s. Yeah, which is fine. Obviously, I think it's a good age, to be fair. But I don't know, maybe someone a bit more experienced, maybe maybe sort of late 20s where they're ready to come in and sort of fill that plug, and then bring
24.
a Baleba. Yeah, there you go. And then bring in a Baleba alongside him, so you have like that more experienced person that can come straight in, and then you have a Baleba who's ready in, let's say, a year or two to then step in. So yeah. Look, Tyler, I wouldn't mind Tyler Adams. I don't know if it would really, really inspire me into be like, wow, like what a statement signing.
I know what you mean. It's not inspiring, but I think maybe it's the best that we can do right now, potentially. But I totally agree. I think we get Carlos Baleba and Tyler Adams. I spoke to my mate Scott, who's a Leeds fan. He said that Tyler Adams is really good. He needs creative players around him because he doesn't have the creativity. We have that in abundance, so maybe it would be a really, really good fit having him in the midfield next to Dahoud. And if Chelsea are going for him and these other big clubs have been linked with him, there's obviously something in Tyler Adams. I can't say I watched Leeds too much last year, and apparently he's a really, really good leader and a really, really good character. I also read, which that all these are ticking boxes for Brighton, players that we like to sign. They're good around the club. They've got good leadership. I think he captain Spain. Did he captain America as well?
I think that
sort of thing. Like there are a few articles about him being like that sort of leader in the dressing room. So I think, Adams and Baleba, if we can get both of them, that'd be good.
Yeah, and obviously he's got that 20 million release clause, which helps with the relegation. I think it'd be a good signing. I'm more than happy to take him. I mean, as I say, I think if he was at Leeds and they're still in the Premier League now, you'd probably be looking at a good 40-50 million to get hold of him. So for that alone, it's one of them where you can imagine Brighton going for him. The fact that there's been quite a few clubs talking about him also sort of gives me that bit of hype. But I don't know, I feel like there's just that ball winner that we really need in midfield. We don't have a ball winner. And as we said earlier in transition, that's the biggest concern to me, is there's no one, like Caicedo, as much as he's gone now, but the one thing that he was so good at was every single time there was trying to be someone come past him, his last-ditch tackling, his one-on-one tackling, his positioning pretty much every single time, his transition play, his box-to-box, his tenacity, everything that you want in a player of his sort of skill set was perfect. That's the only thing. You need someone to be able to do that. Gilmour, probably not so much. Dahoud, definitely not. I think Dahoud probably was the one that got overrun the most in Luton. I just saw him losing the ball and he probably wasn't strong enough to win it back. You want that tackler, and that's what you need. When you had Basuma, when you had that Caicedo, that's what you need, is someone to just win that ball. Adams would be a great addition in that sense. Whether it's going to be, I don't know if Baleba is that. I don't know too much about him. From what I've seen, he looks a bit more of a flair type. Carries the ball, sprays the ball, drives the ball. Great characteristics and what you need, but probably indicates we're after two, is what I think. But I don't know, I could be wrong. This is through nothing but opinions.
No, that makes sense.
See. It looks like it looks like a promising week to me anyway. We got the money. There's no doubt in that. I'd imagine the club we've had enough time to be thinking about replacements now. And if there's one thing we know the best about this football club, it's that we always have someone lined up. I'd like to know your dream signing, and this could be. The thing is, it's not really an unrealistic unless you're saying like Mbappe, is there now? Because we're a good team now, where we've got a lot of money. We're in Europa League. We can attract decently named players. So I want to know, Maz, let's start with you. Your dream side, £300 million to splash, mate. So apart from Mbappe, apart from Yahal, apart from something ridiculous, who would you bring in realistically to Brighton before September the 1st?
Kyle Walker. At right back. No, he's not realistic. But I would love to see a Kyle Walker come in at right back. That'd be unbelievable. But I generally think I know we talk about the DM role a lot, about the DM, but I generally do think right back is something I really want to plug. So I don't know.
Agree.
I still want. I looked a lot into when we were linked with that Sasha Bowie. Is that how you pronounce it? When we were linked with him,
Yeah.
I sort of dug probably the most I have for a long time into a player, and I really liked him. I think he looked really, really good, and I thought he would be a perfect addition to us. So I know that's probably not like something that people.
That's the dream.
It's not a
Never
dream.
fall in love with a scout report.
Yeah, it's not a dream. It's not a dream, right? It's not a dream signing, but I think like a Sasha Bowie, right back. I think I would like. I'm just going to go with that because I don't really have like a dream signing as such. And obviously Kudus as well, but I know that deal was pretty much dead in the water, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fancies West Ham more. What a weird one. But anyway, Ben.
Dream signing. I mean, he's already pretty much gone to Madrid. But Endrick, the young Brazilian, I absolutely love my young wonder kids from Brazil. So maybe Endrick.
Manager.
Get him on loan potentially from Real Madrid. I know that's not spending their money, or maybe just buy him off Real Madrid. If we're talking about dream scenarios, get Endrick. I genuinely can't think of anyone
realistic though.
Realistic with the money.
I've got one in my head. Yeah,
you go, and I'll
if
keep
you want to
thinking.
interrupt you.
Yeah, you go.
All right, Manuel Locatelli for me. And the reason I say that is he's at
yeah.
Juventus at the moment. And there's a quote that said that I think it was De Zerbi changed his life, or some words like that. De Zerbi changed his life, and he basically admires him as one of the best managers he's ever sort of been under in his life. Now, look, I know we can't be attracting Juventus players every now and then, but if there is a player that you can get, it's someone that got you into the Italian side, it's someone that got you your big move to Juve. It's probably not very likely. He was, I think, the player of the Euros for Italy, wasn't he, in the Euros 2021-2020 brackets? I think he was one of the ones that got picked out a lot. I love Locatelli. He's a fantastic player. If we had him and Gilmore, we are Euros 2021 dreams right there, because that was like prime 2021 Twitter. But yeah, that's probably mine. Is Locatelli?
I'll agree.
Would be quite nice, and also
I'll agree with you.
Yeah, if we could get someone like him, it'd be a big statement.
Although in saying that, I mentioned Locatelli on the last pod when we done the Caicedo breakdown, and one of the comments was like, you think you can get Locatelli? How? Or something like that. I was like, well, we probably could. I don't see that being like a wild shout or like something that's unattainable, unachievable. I don't think he's exactly like, he's not a Real Madrid, level, or like a Barcelona /
Juventus are finished as well.
Big, yeah, he's not exactly like a big club, fat player. Sorry. So. Yeah, I didn't really understand that comment from someone in the comment section. But yeah, there you go. Locatelli, I agree with you, Ryan. I think Locatelli would be a great addition just because of his links with De Zerbi and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice. And yeah, I think Dahoud's a great talent. Just to echo the Dahoud thing, because as I say, I think he is a great talent. I think he's probably more of a flair type, one that's going to spray the ball around, one that's got the sort of skill set, his first touch is nice, his passing's nice, but I think if you're wanting someone to just put them challenges in, win the ball back, do the dirty work, bit like what James Milner could do, to be fair, but a lot of a younger version, the one you can rely on. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Maybe I've gone mad, but that's just me. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything. Karim Mitoma, obviously, as we mentioned, new contract talks. Alex Crook, very reliable source. Got a lot right in the last couple of years for us. So shout out Alex Crook. But looks like Karim Mitoma's being lured with a big contract, deserved, obviously. Is it one where he's going to be getting a big pay rise, or is he here for the loyalty?
Pay rise for sure. I mean, if we're using the money, like when you think of money that we've just made, you probably think, right, putting it back in signings, but getting some big players locked down on some contracts, give Caicedo a new contract, those sort of players, Estepinian, give them some more money. That's where I'd also put the money, as well as Locatelli. But 100%. Let's wrap up because I've got to shoot now. But I think Karim Mitoma thoroughly deserved. If you're picking out one of the players in our squad to get a contract, for sure him. And it'd be interesting to see how long it is, because they said long-term contract, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, this is probably a good 5-year, I think. But yeah, it looks good. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything covered anyway. Make sure you're liking, commenting, but also commenting something of your choice. Ben and Maz and Ryan, what we saying? Comments of the day.
Their dream player. That works. Do your question.
Yeah, that works.
Dream realistic player.
Your dream player, got 100 million to spend. What you doing? Yeah. Nice. Okay, and don't put Haaland because I can't bother to respond. And if you
Realistic,
put
come on.
Mbappe and blocked, and you'll never be able to watch the Seagulls Social episode again. Right, thank you all for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, stream, all that stuff. We'll see you just before Wolves. And yes, thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Peace.